What's up, world? It's your boy, your guy, Coach EV, aka EV the Geeker, and welcome to another edition of Talking Hoops in the Sip, the Boys Edition. Talking Hoops in the Sip, the Boys Edition. And so you hear that in the background, that is me. I did not mute my on computer, and so you heard my voice in the background. Check this out. Tonight, we have a phenomenal show. We're about to go down with our regulars, Lavelle Shoes Johnson of Mississippi Hoop Report. What up, Shoes?
Peace out. What's up?
And Talante Weber, aka T-Web of Southern Sports Platform. What up, T-Web?
What's up with you, man?
We also have very special guests from the Gulf Coast Elite Basketball Rankings. Let's welcome to the show, Kevin Cole.
What's up, world?
And also, this guy needs no introduction. If we go back, he hit a world-famous 35-footer. He actually was shooting it from the Vaughn zone, a.k.a. the volleyball line, a.k.a. the SWAC letters. Let's welcome to the show, internet sensation and ESPN 2020 ESPN ESPY Award winner, Thomas Snacks Lee. What's up, Snacks?
What's going on, E? What's going on, my guy?
Chilling, man. And GOG for just GOG, period. GOG for you and GOG for Kevin. That means get out the geek. You're both geeking, period, early. Hey, let's jump right in, man. Right before the show, y'all was talking a little bit. We're gonna just switch it up just a taste. We'll slip into this Mississippi hoops thing, but let's talk a little bit about the NBA that's been going on. I mean, I haven't watched much of it, but I see y'all have. Talk to me early, and Snacks, we'll just start with you early. We'll get you going, bring you in early. Talk to me about your guy, KD. I know you won some tickets to the game and stuff, for this year. Is KD, tell me about KD and Kyrie, and let's go ahead and make the bold prediction how the Nets going to be. What's your thoughts?
Well, right now, I'm loving the tandem of Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. I definitely think it's going to flow very well throughout the season. Of course, we'll have to see how it progresses throughout the season when, of course, adversity comes or when they play some better teams and they're back against.
I
think you're breaking up a little bit, Snack.
They have a great core group of guys. Shamit, Jeff Green. You said what?
Now you back with us. You was breaking up.
Somebody ain't
okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah. No, you kind of breaking up still.
I'll hop on it for him. You know what I'm saying?
Go ahead, T-Well. Go ahead and jump in and tell me your thoughts.
How about now?
I can hear you now.
But he froze though.
Yeah.
All right. And I think we were saying though, you know what I'm saying? I think the Nets have a great core. They had Levert last year. I think he probably averaged like 18. So I think he's gonna end up coming off the bench because they did start some people over him. But of course, they got DeAndre Jordan. I think they're gonna have a solid chance to win. A solid chance to win in the East. I know the Bucks gonna be there. Miami's gonna be good. I'd love to see how they're gonna match up against those teams early on. Bucks, Miami. They beat Boston, but Boston, you know what I'm saying, they didn't play everybody the whole game. I think those are gonna be some tough matchups. I don't, you know what I'm saying, I know Kyrie and KD, they known for getting injured down the stretch of the season. So I think those are gonna be some tough matchups for them in the playoffs when they do have to go through a Boston and Miami. I don't know how they're gonna hold up. You know what I'm saying? Because they do got some fragile guys, but for the most part, you know what I'm saying? I think both of those guys are gonna probably average about 25 apiece. So on any given night, you know what I'm saying, they can fill it up. So they're gonna be pretty deadly. Last night we had a great game between Portland and Houston. I think Houston looked a lot better this year than they did last year to me. Early on. James Harden probably one of the best, well, probably is the best scorer besides KD in the league right now. But other than that, everybody looks solid. You know, I'm picking, I think the Lakers are going to win again. You know what I'm saying? They're going to repeat again. That's just because LeBron James is the GOAT. You know, so I know we got a lot of Jordan guys on here, but LeBron right now is nobody close to LeBron playing basketball right now. As far as winning wise, you know what I'm saying? Like KD, all those guys are great, but LeBron is just on a, you know what I'm saying? He's in a level of his own right now. So, but point guard, so I got to give it to my boy John been killing. He been really putting some numbers up. I think he averaging like 31 right now. Him and Trae Young, they got into it the other night when they played, but I think those guys, I think the league in great hands moving forward with those two guys at the guard spot. Both of them play entertaining basketball. Ja's a phenomenal, you know what I'm saying? He can dunk, he can finish, he can get guys involved. Trae Young can shoot the 3-ball. He got nice handles as well. So right now, I think it's been some fun matchups. I think this year is actually going to be a pretty entertaining season for the most part.
You talking about Brooklyn, but all guys are scared. Y'all seen they bench. I mean, all them guys that were starting last year coming off the bench for them. I'm a Celtic fan. Everybody know me, know I'm a diehard Celtic fan. But I'm gonna give credit with you, man. Brooklyn is downright scary with Kyrie and KD and me and that group they got on the bench. Jared Allen gave us fits the other day off the bench. Played the whole stretch. I mean, he is big. You know, DeAndre played the first half. He played down the stretch. They got LeVert coming off the bench. Man, they got the Joe Harris guy in the starting lineup that can shoot the lights out. Man, they got a team. It's gonna be really interesting to see can they hold it. You know, do they not let any noise come into the locker room or anything happen that kind of distracts them and gets them off course? Because they are really talented from 1 through probably 10, maybe. You know, probably the only other team in the league halfway close as talented as them may be the Lakers, 1 through 10. They might be the two most talented teams, 1 through 10 in the league. I'll honestly say that looking at these rosters right now. They've been downright scary in the East.
Well, I don't know if everybody know this or not, but I am a Laker fan. I am a LeBron James fan. Wherever LeBron James goes, I go. So with that being said, that same exact team coming along with those free agents that they just brought in, I think they're just destined to win it again. At the end of the day, I feel like the Nets did a lot with, you know, KD and all that. And, you know, I feel in the end, it's going to be those two in the championship. But like I said, though, as long as LeBron is in the league, the Lakers got a chance. And until he's gone and somebody dethrones him, I'm going with the Lakers.
Go ahead, Snack. Jump back in there and see if you got a better connection now.
Do I have a better connection? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
we can hear you.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, like everyone else noted, they have a great core around Kyrie and Kevin Durant. They're actually my favorites to win the championship this year. I feel as if the Lakers are kind of aged, and I don't think they are I don't think they'll have enough to sustain over a 7-game series. So I'm kind of biased because Kevin Durant is my favorite player, but I just don't think no one else in the league has enough as far as being deep from every position, because you kind of got depth at every position. You got Dinwiddie, you got Kevin Durant, you got Allen, you got DeAndre Jordan, you got shooters, Joe Harris, Shamet, and you got Dinwiddie and Kyrie. So you can't go wrong with that nucleus group of guys. So they're definitely my championship favorites.
Real quick, before we jump into Mississippi, I want to ask this question, see if you guys have thought about this. Can Kevin Durant and Kyrie, you can argue both of them have never won when they are
Guys.
solely the guy and they're the organization and all of that. You know, Kevin Durant, when you look at, at OKC, it was really Kevin Durant's team. He had if you think back to that team, the talent they had, it was Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, Serge Ibaka, and James Harden at one time. But because OKC didn't have the you know, like they weren't, you know, obviously Golden State or something or a San Antonio type organization. They didn't get it done. Kyrie, when you look back at Kyrie when LeBron left, or even before LeBron got there, he has this stigma. I love Kyrie's game, but he has this stigma that surrounds him. So the question is, can these guys come together and win a championship?
That's why they play the season. You're gonna find out. That's the question. But we just gotta kind of wait and find out. But if they do hold it together, they slip like they could have something special. You're right. Those are gonna be the questions.
You know, I had the same question. I was gonna say the same thing before you said it. That's a great question. Like you said, neither one of them. I know Kyrie didn't win anything before LeBron came back. I don't even think they made the playoffs. So, and then if you think about it, when he went to Boston, they didn't need him in Boston either because they still made it to the Eastern Conference Finals without him that year versus LeBron. So, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, his stigma does follow him. KD. I mean, if you think about it, both of them won championships, but KD had to go join a team that was already winning anyway. You know what I'm saying? That's no knock on him because I'm going to chase a championship too if I need to. But he went to a machine that was already well oiled. You know what I'm saying? He just made the oil overflow out of the top of it. You know what I'm saying? Even though he did win, you know, finals MVPs those years, but he already went to a team that was already built. He just had to be KD and no extra pressure at all. He just had to go score his points and go on. So like you said, once you get down, you know what I'm saying, and it starts to boil over, it's going to be interesting to see if those two can actually keep the team afloat. You know what I'm saying? Once we do get to the later rounds of the season, like in June when the playoffs start. So it's going to be interesting. I think they can, but history is not on both of their sides when it come down to it, when they have to lead the team. So it's going to be interesting.
I just want to say we ain't going down without a fight. Celtics. We ain't going down without a fight. We will be around.
I got the Nets in 5.
Ooh.
What?
I got the Nets in 5 if they playing the Celtics, man. I think it's gonna get rough on the Celtics.
I'll see you when that time get here. I'll see you. We got to make a nice little wager or something. I'll see you. I want the same odds now. I want the same odds.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Snack, and what's your thoughts, Snack? On that?
Man, honestly,
on what I just said about KD.
Honestly, I feel like they have the experience. They've won championships before, so I feel like that experience alone will help them kind of carry and lead the teams together. You know, even though when both guys had to lead the team, they didn't, of course, get a championship. But I feel like with them, you know, coexisting, that experience alone will help, you know, get them over the hump.
All right, cool. I do want to say this. I haven't watched very much basketball on the NBA level so far, but it seems like early on, the most disappointing team in the NBA right now would be the Golden State Warriors, you know, or the most surprising. Would you agree with that or not? I mean, didn't they get blown out by twice? Or who's your most?
Yeah, they got beat by early. They got beat bad twice early. Man, did y'all see what the Clippers got? What Dallas did to the Clippers today?
They got it.
Yeah, they won by 50 today.
50 at the half.
No Kawhi though. So I mean, got to factor in that.
No, they still got players. There's no excuse for them.
They got to play. You ain't got to get that bad.
Right now, you got to think the Warriors. They have an excuse. You don't have Draymond right now, and you don't have Klay Thompson. So you know what I'm saying. That's drastic. You got Curry out there with a bunch of, I don't even know. You just got him out there with some NBA players. You know what I'm saying. So it's gonna be hard to win the NBA with just Curry because you know he's not 6'8", 6'9" LeBron James. He's a 6'1" point guard. They probably weigh 190 pounds. So it's only so much he can do out there by himself. So I think if they had Draymond and Klay, we'll still be talking about the Warriors being one of those top, you know what I'm saying, top teams in the West. But without those guys, they probably won't win. They probably won't win 25, 30 games this year from how it's looking.
So you just dismissed the fact about Andrew Wiggins and Kelly Oubre.
Who?
Kelly Oubre, Andrew Wiggins, you know.
They don't fit. They don't fit. From what I've seen, I just don't think those new additions fit with those players. I don't think it's going to work.
Well,
Yeah,
let's look at it this way now. They did have a short training camp. They didn't have any training camps. They were the usual training camps, short training camps. And you're right, those guys are different guys. So let's give Golden State probably the first 2 weeks, the first month of the season, to see can they get it going. It's obvious that they have to figure out how to play together, but they got a lot of talent. And Draymond is supposed to be back this season. And Clay's gone for the year, but Draymond's supposed to play this year. And I just think they may need some time. I think that's their biggest thing now, is that they just haven't had a chance to get together and really figure out how the pieces fit together. I mean, hey, that Golden State team that made it to the championship, they grew together before they got there. So it doesn't happen overnight, even with pros. In the pros, it doesn't happen overnight sometimes, especially when you got this many guys that haven't ever played together.
Now, granted, going back to what you said, I mean, you're right. They're going to have to change their whole style of play because the Mark Jackson before Steve Kerr got there, he took the bumps and bruises, building that team to what it was. Yeah. And then, I think Steve Kerr did reap the benefits of the team being pretty much a well-oiled machine that brought in a couple new pieces. And he probably just let them flow a little bit more, but the team was already built and in place ready to win a championship then. So I think now with the new pieces, I don't think they can play the same kind of style, because sometimes it looked like Curry kind of out of place out there on the floor. He's not without the ball.
That's what I'm saying. They've got to figure out how the pieces fit together right now. They haven't figured out how they fit together. And we got to realize they had a shortened training camp rather than usual. So I just think at this point they have been the most disappointing, but I think I won't throw them away yet. I won't say that they won't win 20 games. I still think they're a playoff team.
But on another note, James Wiseman has probably been the best rookie so far this year. He's gonna get my vote for rookie of the year.
He's been playing well. He played well for him the first couple of games. Wiseman really has.
All right. Well, we're gonna transition into our Mississippi. With that being said, let me remind us of our sponsor for today, the Eros Hydroxyl Blaster. Everybody say Eros.
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 Eros. Eros.
The Eros Hydroxyl Blaster is the first air purifier scientifically proven to reduce COVID-19 on surfaces. And for more information, please call my guy Jason at 601-454-8678. That's 601-454-8678. Well, listen, now across the state, as we mentioned, I think maybe on the last time, but maybe we didn't. Everybody in the state now has played. JPS has opened up. We got a chance to see, we've had the rankings out, and Shoes had his rankings, and he ranked everybody except JPS because he hadn't seen JPS play. So now JPS has played, and so we should soon be having some changes to the rankings, because there were some teams that, to me, that have played, and they are clearly worthy of a top 10 ranking in my
way.
So we have to let's talk about that. Let's talk about it. Shoes, talk to me a little bit. We'll start out with, since we're talking about team rankings, and then we have Kevin Knight. For those of you who don't know, he's the owner of Gulf Coast Elite Basketball Rankings, and he's going to be giving us everything that we need concerning the Gulf Coast tonight. So we'll have a chance for him to share. But Shoes, talk to us a little bit about the rankings, some of the best teams, how it's changed right now, and then we'll just kind of flow off that.
Well, the early season, Clinton has been very impressive. You've seen him a number of times. I have also. Oak Grove has a small sample case, but they've been good. They're 5-0. Starkville, they took their L to Pontotoc, but they've been really consistent. After yesterday, after getting a look at them, they were highly ranked in the preseason, but they hadn't played yet. But You got to throw Callaway in the mix now. It's being one of the top teams in the state after seeing them yesterday with that. They were impressive with the performance that Deshaun Ruffin put on yesterday, and after getting a look at that, the front line, their revamped front line this year that's pretty impressive. It's long and tall and rangy and active. You definitely got to throw them in the mix there. After those four, I think after those four, it kind of drops. There's a gap probably, but you got teams like Brandon, Raymond, Pontotoc. My preseason number one, Harrison Central. They started off 0-3, but they on a 10-game winning streak. It took, like I just said about the Golden State Warriors, sometimes it just take a while to get it going. But they've been playing well. So Forest Hills has been pretty impressive in their first two games also. I watched them yesterday. I watched them on through your broadcast on their first game when they beat Provide. They look like they're going to be another team that you have to contend with. Center Hill's taking some lumps. They've been playing out of state a lot, but I don't doubt that they'll still be around when it's said and done later on in the season. So it's right now it's early, man. It's really early. It's still early at least, and a lot of teams have had there's been a lot of variance in the amount of games the teams have played. Some teams have played in double figures games. Some teams have played anywhere from 3, 4, 5, 6 games. So it's been a wide variance. So a lot of teams probably haven't really had a chance to really get their feet up under them. But I think that four right now seems to be the cream of the crop, and we just got to see who else can work their way into the mix with them.
Well,
okay.
As far as on the coast,
go ahead, Kevin. Yeah.
Well, as far as on the coast, like I'm gonna feed off what Lavelle just said. The hottest team on the coast right now is Harrison Central. Of course, they started out 0-3 preseason number one. Of course, they was dealing with some injuries or whatever, but no excuse. At the end of the day, they won 10 straight, and in high school ball, 10 straight is 10 straight. But after that, I would say probably the second best team right now. Gulfport is starting to peak. They did beat my alumni Biloxi High, but Biloxi High is probably the third best team that I've seen down here because they are very young. And then my fourth team would probably be Pascagoula. Lorenzo Wright, he does a wonderful job over there in Pascagoula. And he has a kid by the name of John Davis who was probably put up the biggest numbers down. He had a 37-point game about a week and a half ago. So those are probably the four best teams as far as on the coast as of right now.
What about Moss Point? How they look?
Moss Point has kind of been up and down. They got a new coach, and then they got a new star player over there that's young. He's raw. Kendrick Osby, 6'6", 6'7", can shoot it real good. Right. But at the end of the day, they just kind of starting to gel, and they've been kind of up and down. But probably in 4A ball, they may be able to make a run close to the end of the year with that size that they have. But they've been kind of up and down.
Okay. Cool, and I guess Evie done dipped on us, huh? He done went out. But
I'm right here. I was listening to Snacks. Tell me, talk to me a little bit about. Before I go to you, Snacks, Talante, tell me your top two teams in 6A. Is it 6A? 6A, 5A, and 4A.
Oh man, I'm tough, but 6A.
Who's your top two teams? 6A.
6A, Starkville, of course, and then I don't think Oak Grove have been beat yet, have they? Has Oak Grove lost yet?
Oh, they're 5-0. They haven't lost yet.
Okay. What about Clinton is 6A? I just thought I'd let you.
6A too. Oh yeah, easy then. That's easy. Clinton and Starkville, those are the best two teams. Then 5A, you have. Let me see who. Callaway will be number one, and probably I'm gonna probably have to go with it's tough. I'm gonna probably have to go with Center Hill. Like I said, they've lost, but I think those two gonna be there every year. So I'll probably go with those two right now. I might be missing somebody, but I believe in those guys. I think both of those are gonna go far in the playoffs. And then you got other guys in that 5A division. I think 5A might be the toughest too. 5A
North is gonna be a knockdown drag out. They've got about 6, 7 to 8 teams up there that. 6, 8 teams up there that all got a chance, Yeah. And on a given day, they might, you don't know who can win, but no, 5A North is gonna be a booger.
Yeah, 5A over here because you got New Hope. New Hope been solid, and New Hope plays Starkville on Tuesday night. I actually be in Jackson, so I'm gonna miss it, but I'm gonna send somebody to that game. After that game, I'll be able to tell you for sure because that's gonna be a good game. I think it's gonna be a great game actually. But going on to 4A, the top two teams, of course, we always talk about Raymond and Punta are the best 4A teams. That's what everybody's looking at. They both probably played the toughest schedules of the 4A teams. So they play 6A guys, 5A, whatever you look at. So those are the best two teams in that division. And then we at 3A. We don't even really talk about 3A a lot, do we? Let me see. Let me think. Best 3A team.
I'd say St. Andrews, and it's a bunch of guys behind St. Andrews. I still think Houston might be the second most talented team, the next most talented team in 3A.
Right, Houston is pretty good. They're not as good as they were last year because they lost two great guards last year, but they're still solid. I think they're gonna still have a chance to be there as well. So probably Houston and St. Andrews.
You know who's been playing well? Just kind of sneaked up. Boonville sneaked up. They like 7-2, 8-2. They've been playing. I knew coming into the season they probably were a team that they were real close to making my preseason.
Right.
Super 7, and I looked up. I actually ranked them this week because they beat Ingomar last week, and they've been playing well.
Yeah, Boonville gonna be solid. And like you said over here, we actually have some good coaches. Because I know last year Boonville got beat by Noxubee, but Noxubee actually has a great coach, and those guys play like goon basketball. They play tough. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna do whatever the coach asks them. So like you say, it's gonna be tough. Back this way, it's gonna be tough for some guys. I really can't tell you who's gonna make it in like the 5A through probably like 2A division from our way, because it's just a toss-up because those guys, whoever come to play that day when the playoffs start, anybody can be beat with the margin of talent, you know what I'm saying, the coaching. So anybody can be beat at that level from back this way.
Let me ask you this, Kevin.
Go ahead,
Kevin.
Now, I was going to say, quiet as kept, we have a school down here that's like a 2A St. Patrick's. I think they're 10-0, and they were like one game from getting to the Coliseum last year. They don't get a lot of fanfare here because we don't have a lot of 2A schools here on the coast, but they kind of might be one of those, lower class teams that might have a chance to make a run and get to the Coliseum. And they're well coached by Coach Keith Robertson, who used to be at Pascagoula, but he's been over there at St. Patrick's for a while.
Is that where my guy Nick Krause is?
Yeah, that's what Nick's at. Nick Krause.
Yeah. That's Nick, the one that does the windmills in the games. Yes, that's Nick Krause.
I like Nick hoop.
Yeah, he nice. He nice.
Yeah. We like Nick. Nick's a baller. Snack, we'll jump in with you, man. Tell us, a little bit about. Have you watched? I know you've been traveling with Jackson State early here, but have you, talk to us a little bit about some guys, some players that you thought that had a pretty good summer and that you expect to have a pretty good, rest of the season, or even had some early success.
I think Joseph Dupree is going to have a pretty solid year. I know he had a pretty good showing his first game. I feel like Merle, they'll get better as the season progresses with having that delay in the start of that season. I feel like they'll kind of gel as the season progresses. I expect Kevion to have a solid year at Callaway High School, and Jamie Mitchell from Forest Hill. I think his last game, if I'm not mistaken, he probably had 20 and 10, and I think they got him playing a little bit of the 4 and 5 position because of their size depth, because they don't really have a true big. So he's definitely been he's kind of like a filler as far as being the scoring guard as well as banging down there with the post. So I expect him to have a great year. Of course, we know what Deshaun Ruffin is going to do. Kimani Hamilton, I got to see him a lot early. I feel like he's going to have a solid season. And it's a sleeper that I like, that I think will have a solid year this year too. Amarian, that's at Terry High School. I think he should have a pretty solid year as well. And Samarian Grant, he's been playing pretty solid for Program High School. So I think those guys will definitely have a great year.
Yeah, Samarian has jumped off with 29 in his first game and 24 in the last game. We actually interviewed him after the last game, and he has well-spoken young man playing since Mark Drone left. He's benefited from that, and whereas Sernante Washington is allowing him to play the point guard, I think he's more of a natural too. But he hadn't done a bad job at all playing the point, and I think that helps him going forward at the next level. And he can really shoot the basketball. Still, just got to learn how to get others involved, and because he's hadn't had to do it, but he can score the basketball. He can score.
And
we can't. About him earlier today.
We can't leave out the my argument top 3 guard in the state now. That's been doing what he do night in and night out. Mr. Hubbard, Josh Hubbard.
J Hub is no question. And right now we'll take this time, as a matter of fact, to wish J Hub a happy birthday. He turned 16 today. And that's a big deal. It's a blessing that some of our, unfortunately, we even have to make this statement that some of our Black young males don't make it to 16. And so the fact, like, that is a major accomplishment that a quality young man like himself, and he is an incredible player. The thing about Josh, I think that everybody's kind of waiting on, and this is as they would say, the elephant in the room. It's not that we know that he can score. It's nothing against MRA, because MRA has proven that they've had players go on from MRA and be legit college players. The question with Josh is, if we get back out on this EYBL circuit on the national scene, will he dominate like he has been? That's the question, because that was the thing with Deshaun. Deshaun dominated around here, and he went to anytime you drop 50 in the EYBL, there's nothing else to talk about. And he did, and Deshaun did that at an 8 a.m. game. And I just see some similarities in that, he's not Deshaun, but with them being close to the same height, and they just kind of remind of each other sometime a little bit. You said what now?
They kind of got close to the same build also. Both of them got those stocky, they're short but stocky, stocky built bodies, stronger built bodies. Definitely, they kind of built alike also. So there are a lot of similarities between them. Hey man, you left out my boy Devin Ree in the list. Snacks, we gotta throw Devin a bone to say I expect him to have a good season this year.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know how I feel about that snub right there on the day and the dozen list. So, he played with a chip on his shoulder all year. So everybody who got a player, he definitely gonna show him why he should have been a damn the dozen.
Well, I'd like to jump in on, since y'all was talking about Josh Hubbard. Before the game got canceled, Josh Hubbard was going to get a chance to go up against Biloxi's sophomore, Duran Parrish. He is going to be the next it on this coast. This kid is averaging about 18, 19 points a game. And like I said, they were scheduled to play, but due to COVID, that game was canceled. But I want to go a little bit further and say right now, probably the best and most talented player on this coast is Anthony Robertson. He's a triple-double waiting to happen. Carlos Williams is the known name on this coast, but he's probably the best athlete. Sam Murray is the next guy as far as got the most upside. He grew 2 inches over the summer, and I think Sam is going to have a big year, and he's definitely going to end up being Division I signee. So those are the list of the players that comes to mind as far as the next up-and-coming players here on the coast.
Well, let me ask you a question, Kevin, real quick, because a matter of fact, I want to ask you a question, make a statement. I love Anthony Robinson of Long Beach. I saw him play one tournament, and I had the #1 ranked kid at that event, because that was the first time I saw him. 6'6" point guard, combo guard, point guard, hybrid guard is my boy Rashad Phillips likes to call him. He's got a whole new positional rankings, going on, and point forward, all that type of stuff. But let me ask you this: the Duran Parrish kid, never heard about him. Can you compare him to the guy that I know down there is what we call him Fat Boy over at Harrison Central? Isn't he a sophomore, Talante? Isn't
Nah,
he?
he's a junior.
Huh?
Fat Boy is a junior. Fat Boy is a junior.
Okay, well, anyway,
Fat Boy is a junior.
compare him to Fat Boy. Fat Boy is the guy I know, one of the guys I know down there.
Well, they two different type of players. We're talking about Duran Paris. We're talking about a 6'2" sophomore that's really, really fast and athletic. Siebel Wyndham has basically put the keys in this kid's hand. And when I say he just has came to Biloxi High and from day one act like this was his team, and he has carried this team. Now, don't get me wrong. He ran up against Gulfport, but he has to learn as a 10th grader that even though in 9th grade you probably can beat everybody by yourself, but he's going to have to learn to trust his teammates because he's on a high school level now. And it's hard for one kid to beat a whole team. So they did take a loss to Gulfport. Now, as far as Anthony Williams, he's probably the most talented kid down here because he can do everything. He's a big guard. He can handle. He can pass. He can score. Don't play on a real good team, but he's my coach player of the year. So with that being said, as far as comparison, now Fat Boy, he's a little smaller guard. His strength is shooting. I like Fat Boy. He's tough as nails right now. He's Harrison Central's leading scorer. And that's saying a lot when you're playing with 2 Division I signees for him to be the leading scorer for Harrison Central, which, like I said, is the hottest team on the coast because they won 10 games in a row.
Wow. I know Fat Boy was. And that's Anthony Robinson, right? Or Anthony Williams? Which one?
He played now. Anthony Robinson plays for Long Beach. He's the 6'7" point guard for Long Beach.
Right. And you said he's the guy.
You mistakenly said Anthony Williams a minute ago. You mistakenly said Anthony Williams a minute ago, but I knew you were talking about. We all knew you were talking about.
I did too. I just wanted to make sure if you hadn't.
Yeah, you meant Anthony Robinson. Anthony Robinson plays for Long Beach. That's the 6'7" point guard, and he's putting up some pretty big numbers. Like I said, he's a triple double waiting to happen. And right now, he's probably my coach player of the year. I just hope he can win enough games where he'll be able to get that, award at the end of the year.
And I mean, to me, you know what I'm saying, even like you're saying a reward, like to me, if you're the best player, it's just like in the NBA. I mean, I know people want you to win, but if you're the best player, you're just on a trash team, you know what I'm saying? Like, I still think you can get the award just because it's the coach award, not the team award.
But do they ever do that? do they ever do that to Lane? The person that the MVP always on one of the better teams.
I would do it, you know what I'm saying? Because that's an individual award if you're talking about the best player. You know what I'm saying? We're not talking about the best team, you know what I'm saying?
But I'm talking about in the reality of what they do. In the reality of what they do. That's why Kevin's saying he hope he win enough games, because in the reality of how they do it, everybody kind of gets judged on their success of their team also.
Right. And
I'm not saying you're wrong about it, but I'm not disagreeing with you about it. I'm just saying, but we have to look at the reality of the people who do pick these awards and what they do and how they do them. In the NBA, they will never give it to a person on a bad team.
Right, and at the same time, you know what I'm saying, I do think that's unfair because you got to think most good teams have at least 3 good players, minimum of 2, but you at least have 3. You know what I'm saying? You have 1 stud and at least 2 guys that are like solid. You know what I'm saying? But I do think that 2023 class in Mississippi is going to be tough. Like you guys, like he mentioned the 6'2" guard at Biloxi. I think I have heard about him. I think somebody did mention.
We talked about him on the show a few weeks ago. I mentioned it to you guys on the show a few weeks ago.
Okay,
we talked about him on the show a few weeks ago.
Yeah, so when you said 6'2", I mean, if he's 6'2", that automatically, if he can hoop a little bit at 6'2", you know what I'm saying, that's great size.
Well, the big thing about Duran Paris, like I say, he's 6'2", he's fast, he's athletic, he's dunking in the basketball game, he can get a shot whenever he wants to, he's a bucket. But of course, he's also one of the top baseball players down here, so anytime you got to kind of, play both sports, that kind of puts a monkey wrench in everything. But right now, if you had to ask me, I think his calling is going to be basketball, but he's 6'2" and he's running the point. And he's not done growing. If he gets to be 6'3", 6'4", as a senior and running the point guard and athletic and get bigger and stronger, the sky's the limit for that kid.
Now, granted, you say he ran into, not to cut EV off, now, granted, you say he ran into Gulfport, didn't you? Now, Josh Hooper scored almost a 50 ball on him as a freshman now.
I saw it. Well, guess what? COVID kept them 2 kids from playing against each other. Because, see, to be honest with you, nobody really knows about Durant because he just started playing high school ball. He got called up last year when he finished his 9th grade year, but he only played 1 or 2 games with Biloxi, and then he went straight to baseball. So he didn't make that championship run when they made it to state. So he was kind of like a hidden gem. But right now, the coach knows about Duran Paris. I mean, to be honest with you, I really wanted to rank him number 1, but he's young right now. He still has a chance. And I ain't want to cause a whole lot of strife because I am a Biloxi High alum. So guess what? Everybody's going to say I was being biased. So that's why I didn't do that.
Well, we people going to do that anyway when you, when you start to do rankings. But real quick, talk me through the, you saw that. I was going to mention that too. Josh Hubbard did come down to the coast and have 47. So you were there. So when you saw him, in your mind, since then, has there been another performance like that on the coast?
I'm gonna be honest with you. The biggest performance we've had down here was the kid from Pascagoula, John. It slipped my mind. John Davis III. He had 37 in the game last week, and I think that's the highest amount of points that somebody scored on the coast. Don't get me wrong. I've seen Josh 1 or 2 times, and I love him. I mean, he reminds me of a running back that plays football. He reminds me of a running back that plays basketball. That's what I see when I see him. He can jump. I love the way he jumps real high on his jump shot. He can score it from deep. I mean, don't get me wrong. He did have the 47 against Gulfport, and that's very impressive, especially when you're in the 9th grade. So, again, like I said, I would have loved to see him and Duran Paris go up against each other, because Duran is a little bit longer at 6'2", and true enough, by him, neither one of them really knowing about each other, that just probably would have been a heck of a matchup.
Well, I got something
Maybe that 40 was him. Right?
Say that again, Shoes.
Go was here at MRA that year.
Say that again, Shoes. He broke up.
That 47
was at MRA.
Was here at MRA. It was MRA.
It was at MRA.
Okay, it was at MRA. Okay, cool. Now let me ask you a question. Was it still 47 points though?
Yeah.
Okay, so you saying it makes a difference because MRA?
You just kept saying it was down there. I just wanted to correct.
Okay, I got you.
I went down there. They went down. They played Gulfport again last year down there. They did play Gulfport down there again last
year. When he came down here, of course, Gulfport beat them, and I think he had like 19 or 20. I was at that game. Okay. He still was impressive, but of course, I already knew Gulfport wasn't going to allow no man to come to their gym and do that again. So they kind of contained him, and of course, Gulfport beat him.
Okay, gotcha. Because that was when they beat Gulfport last year, I thought that was like a signature win. When you talk about private school or public school, that was, and so that was a big time win. Let me jump in about some of these JPS games. I happen to call the games, and I want to just talk about a few teams some players that stood out these since JPS has been playing. Let me start over Lanier. I know you guys. I saw Lanier beat Murrah, and I know I did see him then lose to Callaway. And Murrah is a 4A team that I think that Coach Bo has done a great job and revamping them, and I think they're going to do pretty good. They beat Murrah, and that night there's no question they were the better team. They were more they were deeper than Murrah. To be honest, Murrah has obviously the big three, but some guys that stood out that night was Josh Washington, number 1, a transfer. He transferred from Callaway, and he had 20 plus points in that game. Played really well. I mean, he actually, was one of the better guards on the court. And then there's a kid that Lanier has that I just love. I fell in love with him because he's a very good passer. He's a football player. He's 6'4", about 240. His name is Cortaria Shaw, number 11. Man, really like him. Left-handed, can shoot the floater with his right hand. Got a good feel for the game. Lanier has some pieces. They're not gonna be an easy out. I think that Callaway is still just known as the bully, and it was just one of those things. They're a championship team, and the other day I felt Lanier came out and they just were a little intimidated, and they never got past that. They just, as a coach, I'm always, asking my kids in big game, man, are y'all scared? Because that's what y'all doing. Y'all playing scared. You know, when you miss a layup around the basket, I saw a kid miss a layup that would have cut the game to 3, ends up being 5. Little stuff like that matters when you're in a big game and you're getting ready to try to upset somebody. And I just saw them in that game the other day against Callaway. Didn't play the same way they did against Murrah. Murrah was the bully in that game, but what Lanier did, they hit Murrah in the mouth. Murrah hit him back. Then they hit Murrah with 2 more shots, and then they saw Murrah start to stagger, kind of like Buster Douglas saw Tyson that time, and they went on and knocked Murrah out, you know, and you could see the confidence, and they didn't get that same type of, they never got rolling like that against Callaway. I'll be very interested. You know, Callaway plays Forest Hill on Tuesday, which is another team. And I give Jerry, I just want to make this statement about Jerry Curry over Forest Hill. I got to give him credit. He does a great job every year of just retooling. It seems like he has some talent, and then he's done a phenomenal job with that program. Now this year he has the Marshall boys, George and Jamari, and then I'm telling you, Snacks, and I love what Jamie Mitchell was doing the other night. Jamie Mitchell, now I didn't see him the other day when he had 20, but I saw Jamie Mitchell the night before where he didn't hit any threes, but man, he was a killer on the boards. I really believe that if I'm a small D1 right now, and this may go out on a limb to some of y'all, I believe Jamie Mitchell is a small D1 type of talent, a low D1 talent.
Agreed.
When he goes JUCO, you're talking about a 6'4", 6'5" wing who's tougher than I realized. I realized that he's tougher. Snack, did you, I know Jamie's always been your guy, kind of. You kind of realized it. I know you saw it. Did you realize he was as tough as he was? That he wasn't. I thought initially he might be a soft kid, but I've seen some toughness in him. I mean, what's your thoughts?
I always thought that he was tough. Even of course over the summer when I was of course trying to get him, probably the first couple weeks of our AAU season, he was kind of a guy that had a good frame, that could shoot the 3 ball, and then kind of you didn't have to just stick him at a primary position. He kind of was a very comfortable kid. If you tell him to craft the glass, if you tell him we need some help on the glass, can you go down there and get us a couple offensive rebounds, or just make hustle plays. He's very coachable. He took coaching, and he just a very solid kid.
Yeah, I like James.
You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Was kind of breaking up, but we heard the majority of it. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll say this about him. I know from experience that he's a rock solid, hard, big body, strong kid. I was calling a summer league game, not this past summer, last summer, and the action came my way, and I couldn't backpedal fast enough, and he ran over me. And I found out right then he's not a lightweight, EV. He's really built really solid.
hey, Shoes, they say you're going to have to run and get out of the way, man.
I was trying to backpedal. They told us don't backpedal. I tried to backpedal out the way.
You're supposed to backpedal, man. You got to turn around and run.
He came my way all of a sudden, man. But he hit me and I went sliding. But he is rock solid. I'll give him credit for that. He's strong, and I think once he made his mind up that I'm gonna put my work in around the glass, off the boards, that just took him to another level. But he definitely has the strength and size to be a big factor, especially on the high school level down there.
Another team I kind of wanted to just throw out there, and you guys, if you knew some about them, you can jump in. I really was impressed with Vicksburg. Vicksburg, I think, is a very talented team. If you catch them, and are they 5A or 6A shooters?
They're 5A.
5A.
That's another team right there. They are a 5A team. If you catch them on the right night, they are a team that can be. They have
Forest Hill handled them relatively easy yesterday. That's what's scary. They'll go up and down.
I was surprised at that, to be honest with you. I was surprised that they did that. I really was. So
I was too.
But I want to throw a couple. I got a couple of their names I wanted to throw out. Taylor Smith, the kid can really shoot the basketball. He made 103 threes last year. And that's when anytime you got a kid that can make 103 threes, and he shot, I want to say shot close to 50%, his coach said. And, you know, you make 100 threes basically out of 200, you shooting the basketball. And I got a chance to watch him, and he can't shoot the basketball. I mean, his coach wasn't. When, you know, sometimes coaches tell you, man, he can really shoot it, this, that, and the other. And, you know, because I'm the best shooter one of the best shooters in the country myself, you know, I saw what Steph did the other day and shot. I mean, was that incredible? Making 5 minutes. Do you know how hard it is to make 103 threes in a row?
Hey, that's the greatest shooter ever, man. Look, it's easy for him. Him and Klay Thompson can shoot that thing. That's a layup for them guys.
Yeah, but
that's right.
That's phenomenal. You know, you got to have just super. Just concentration.
Super concentration along with just natural ability to do that.
Absolutely.
Concentration level.
Because that's
and growing up around a daddy that was probably one of the best shooters in the NBA of all time.
Absolutely. Think about this. What
they don't give no credit. They're encouraged to flat out shoot the ball.
I'm gonna get back to Vicksburg, but while we're there, what other son that has outshined his dad like that? Probably the first name that just popped to me was Kobe Bryant. You know, he outshined his dad. That was the first name that popped up. But what other son that has come and just, you know, Dale Curry wasn't no scrub.
No, Dale had some great games in the league.
You know what? It's a new guy, but I think Cole Anthony gonna end up surpassing his dad too. Just from how he been playing so far as a rookie, I think he's gonna be a solid NBA player. I think he's gonna be around for a while too over there with Orlando.
You know who y'all don't give no credit to? Tim Hardaway's son has been solid the whole time he's been in the NBA. He's a way better shooter than his daddy was, and he was bigger. But nobody gives him credit. He has consistently put up 18, 19 points a game since he's been in Dallas. Yeah. So that's another kid whose dad was great that they'll never get a lot of credit.
That's a great point, Kevin. That is a great point, because when we see Tim Hardaway Jr., I'm still I haven't seen enough of him. I've seen a little bit of it, but I'm still thinking about between the leg
crossover. You still thinking about a crossover, but look, his game is totally different from his dad, but it's effective.
And hey, we forgot about Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson better than his dad was.
And his dad was a backup center, man. Don't give him no credit. Michael Thompson was a backup center, man. Don't give him no credit.
Whoa. If I'm not mistaken,
number one pick in the draft.
Thank you, LeShoes. I was just getting ready.
Number one pick in the draft.
Wait a minute.
Hey, Shoes. I'm a little younger than you now. I'm a little younger than you, Shoes.
Okay, well, that's why I got to tell you that then. Michael Thompson was the number one pick in the draft.
I was trying to tell my point, Shoes. I wanted to tell him to slow down, young fella. Michael Thompson wasn't no joke.
Michael Thompson was the number one pick in the draft, baby. He knew he could do it.
And you do understand.
I won't go back that far.
Hey, he bagged up.
He was bagging up. He bagged up maybe one of the greatest centers in the league, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So he was a backup.
That's why I said I know him as a backup center, but yes, I realized he was probably the number one draft pick in the 70s, but that's just my opinion, though. You know, both of them was good, and it's good to have them genes. It's good to have those genes.
But I agree with you. Klay Thompson is, we will flip Klay Thompson. He is on that group. But back to Vicksburg, the other kid I wanted to talk about, Jaden Williams, 6'6", 6'7", bruiser kid. I think he's a Division I kid because he just got the body. I think somebody, personally, and I'm not pushing for, Vicksburg's down there by Alcorn, in my opinion, Shoes. That's your alma mater, or your team. To me, they should be all over him. They should have offered him, in my opinion. That's my thoughts. You know, Jaden Williams should be playing in the SWAC. He's a big body. He's a hustler. He can score around the basket. Still got a lot of work to do. To me, that's a no-brainer. That's in my opinion. What's your thoughts on that?
I watched him yesterday. He's a guy that can play at that level. Probably play the 4 at that level. And get some more get it done. I like Jaden. He looks a lot better in the summer and in the summer with his other groups than he does with Vicksburg. He just doesn't seem to. They don't ever seem to get him in the mix like they do with the other teams. But he's a big body that rebounds, that plays around the rim. He's gonna have to work on his offensive skill work a little bit, but he's just so active and got a nose for the ball. That he keeps balls alive. So yeah, I like him. I like Jaden a lot. I watched him yesterday. Taylor hit 2, 3, or 4 long threes yesterday. He really showed how well he could shoot it yesterday again. He was sticking that Jay from long range yesterday. I mean, that was in the fourth quarter. They did make a run, get back under double digits, and he was a big part of that run. Taylor was dropping those long J's yesterday. But
another kid that's underrated, Sean Hardy, number 0 from them, the point guard. I like him. He's a pretty good player for them. And then they got Keyshawn Brown, 6'5", athletic kid. I know he was hurt last year.
He got hurt last year.
And then they're freshmen. And then I'll be done with Vicksburg. They're freshmen. They have a freshman who's about 6'3", who I think is a top 10 freshman in the state. Easy. Cameron Brown is pretty good.
He looked good. He looked good in spells yesterday. He had a couple of young, ninth grade mistakes, but he hit some shots. He made some plays. He definitely did talented. He's not dug out out there at all. Matter of fact, he looks like he really belongs. But I agree with you there. He's probably one of the top freshmen in the state. I haven't seen a lot of them yet. I haven't even started compiling my freshman rankings or anything like that yet. I used to wait till the end of the year and over into after their freshman year to kind of put that together. So, but he's definitely one that'll be there when I start doing that list for the upcoming freshmen, for this year's freshman.
Well, it just seemed like time just get past us so quick. But as is there anything else that you guys want to? I know we talked about.
I want to take a minute here, EB. I want to take a minute.
Go ahead.
Let Kevin talk to us about a team that's on the coast that doesn't get a lot of talk in the state. We don't really put them in the rankings because they're a situation. They got a lot of kids, most of the kids from out of state, this and that. But that Grace Baptist Academy team down there on the coast, Kevin got a chance to see them this week, so I just thought it'd be a good thing to make some mention of them on the show, and I wanted to ask him to tell us what he thought those guys.
Go ahead, Kevin. That's a great point. Thanks you for reminding me. Grace Baptist, I think it's coached by Brad Shaw.
Yeah. Well, Evie, you ought to know something about the prep school thing. That school, I don't know exactly how long they've been in existence. But that school is probably one of the best kept secrets on this coast. I had a chance to meet Shaw on the last weekend. He invited me over to his campus. And I went to the night they played Moss Point. He has been scheduling a lot of coast games because for the longest he has never really played a lot of coast teams. And I went over there and watched them play Moss Point. They beat Moss Point by 30. He has a lot of kids from Australia. He has a kid by the name of Tanner Copa. He's 6'6" wing, can take it off the dribble, can shoot the cover off of it. He has another 6'9" kid that's a rebounder. This is probably the biggest high school team that I've seen in this area. Unfortunately, they don't play a lot of coach teams because, like you said, they are a prep school. So, matter of fact, they're going to Panama City to play in a tournament. But that school is probably the best kept secret as far as a prep school down here. And he's loaded with talent. He has a 6'11" African over there. So, the team is really, really big, but they're not only just big, they're talented. And he does a real, real good job. And eventually, Brad is going to start playing more coach teams to get that team some exposure.
Let me ask you this. Go ahead and compare them to Harrison Central.
Well, you know what? It's funny you say that I've actually talked to Boo Hart and I've talked to Brad about trying to schedule those two teams playing in the Hoop Fest and let that be the finale. But unfortunately, Brad and them already got some prior commitments, and they wouldn't be able to play of the weekend that the Hoop Fest is going on. So as far as size, that probably would have been a good matchup. But that team, like I said, they're well coached. We're talking about Aussies. I mean, we're talking about Australian players. You know, when those players come from places like Europe, they're a little bit better grounded when it comes to playing fundamental basketball. So with that being said, you know, I probably would give them an edge. Don't get me wrong. Boo Hart is my boy. I think he probably has the most talented team down here. But at the same time, that team that I saw over there at Grace Baptist is very, very, very talented.
Well, see, I'm in this mindset. Let's keep talking about it. Brad, Coach Shaw, if you're listening, if there's any way that you can get out of whatever commitment that you have, if you can reschedule it, can we get to see that game? Because it's not that you need us to legitimize you. Obviously, Kevin Cole has said great things, and we've watched you and watch you on the internet. And unfortunately, matter of fact, through my post grad, we were supposed to play in the tournament that we couldn't get it together last year, and so we definitely respect what Grace Baptist is doing, and we're excited to have somebody doing something for the kids like that. But I sure would like to see him, come, maybe even come this way and play some Jackson teams as well.
Now, granted, to his defense, Coach Brad does try to make those games. Like he'll call. They interested in playing whoever. You know what I'm saying? Like some teams.
Well, I'm gonna say this. Hey, y'all, listen to me. He said he would like to be a fill-in. I heard that the MLK Classic that y'all have in Jackson is already filled. But if some team drops out due to COVID, please call Brad Shaw. I think they have an open date, the date of Martin Luther King. So that team can come up there and play somebody out of Jackson so they can get some exposure in the state of Mississippi. And I want to say one more thing. The Holiday Classic starts tomorrow at Gulfport. Of course, y'all know that's our biggest tournament. And Owen Mill and the Gulfport High Admiral, they throw probably the best tournament on this coast. It's going to be mostly coast teams. The only two out-of-area teams that are coming are Morton and Meridian. Of course, you know about Meridian and Morton. Of course, they won one or two or three A's. And so starting tomorrow, we're going to have our big classic down here at Gulfport High. So anybody that's in this area that loves basketball, they're going to be there. But they are only allowing 250 people per session. So get there early and get you some tickets. And so I'm just giving Gulfport a shout out because they do put on a good tournament.
Okay, if Grace Baptist needs somewhere for their kids to play as well this upcoming summer, man, I heard some good sides on that team, and Snake Packer Leader welcome them as well.
We might let you play a summer game, Snack. We might get you a summer game with them this summer.
All right.
Yeah, they play. Some of those kids play in the summer. Now, are all of them, Kevin, are they? Let me ask you this, Kevin, as we get ready to close and we're getting ready for everybody to do their last geek. But I want to ask you this specific question. Since I've been here for 4 years, it's always seemed over the years, and this is something you and Shoes can kind of debate, I guess. And it's always been over the years that the Jackson schools are the measuring stick. And that the coast, they can have a great year in and year out. But when they come to the capital city, they have challenges beating the Jackson teams. Talk to me real quick and tell me, is that a myth or is that truth?
Let me speak on that. I'm going to say this right here. I got the utmost respect for the Jackson area kids. But I'm going to go on a limb. I'm going to say this. When you have a predominantly black school and the majority of your kids are predominantly black, you have an opportunity to have a whole lot more talent on your team. So with that being said, I just always felt like y'all do have an edge because, like I said, most of the kids in the JPS school system are predominantly black. And that has nothing to do with color because, like I said, that state practice school is predominantly white. But they have some very, very good basketball players, just like the school over in Ocean Springs that I was just talking about, Grace Baptist. But to say this right here, I think the talent pool changes every year, every couple of years. I mean, the North has had a run, The Jackson area has had a run, and I'm going to just go on a limb and I'm going to say this. In the next 2 or 3 years, I think the coach is going to come back and we're going to have a run. Because at the end of the day, we still got the greatest basketball player to ever come through the state of Mississippi by the name of Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. And that's all I got to say.
Well, there you have it. Is this the year of the coast? Is this the year of the coast? That is the question.
Hey,
So
I'm gonna go on a limb. The North, we're gonna take it this year, man. I'm gonna just go out there and say it. I think we're gonna field on championship banners again this year, girls and boys.
Girls and boys, you got the North. Okay.
I think the North swept. The North swept it on the girls' side last year. I think every team that won the championship was from the North.
Well, we had Olive Branch in 6A. I don't know who it was in 5A.
Columbus.
Starkville. Oh, you talking about girls? Okay, girls.
Basketball.
4A.
Ripley won for girls last year.
And 3A, was it Belmont?
3A was, I can't remember who it was in 3A. I think it was Senatobia.
Okay. What about boys? We had Starkville, Callaway. 4A.
Technically, St. Andrews was south. I know St. Andrews played out the south. St. Andrews played out the south in 3A.
But St. Andrews is right here.
Now, granted, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this: if Velma Jackson, if Houston would have never ran up against Velma Jackson in Jackson, you know what I'm saying? I think Houston should have won the championship last year. I'm gonna just go out. I think they had the best team. They had the best team in 3A with players and everything.
Let me ask this: are the rims different in Jackson than it is up north? I mean, I just didn't know.
No, I'm just being real. You know, if you've never been to the Coliseum, you know what I'm saying? It's just a little different. You know, that's what I heard. You know, it's a little different once you get to the Coliseum.
Okay. Well, let's start with
wasn't Velma shooting those same rim in the Coliseum too?
Them kids don't won. How many years Velma have been to the Coliseum?
Oh, so they get punished for being good for a while.
Hey, I'm a JPS product. I'm a JPS product, man. So I gotta JPS gonna bring a championship home this year. You heard it here first.
For every division?
Not for every division, but I guarantee we're gonna bring home at least one of them.
Like you did last year with Callaway. What you saying?
I guess.
Well, let's everybody, man. Let's take a minute or so, and what we do at this time to give us our last geek, and that take 30 seconds to a minute to talk about anything you'd like to talk about. Shout out your mama, your daddy, your uncle, your dog, your cat, whatever, you know, or any team or any player. So we'll start with you, Kevin, and then we'll go around to you, Shoes, Talante, and then end with Snacks, and then I'll close us out.
Well, I want to mention a kid that I hadn't had a chance to talk about. We got a kid down here by the name of Cortez Dennis that plays at Stone High. He don't get a lot of notoriety because he plays for Stone. He's also a baseball player, but the kid's like 6'7". He has no weakness. At the end of the day, like I said, he's a baseball player, so he's going to have to decide which way he's going to go. I think his dad told me that he's going to try to play both sports. Cortez is putting up some big numbers down here. He may be the coach leading scorer and rebounder right now. So I just wanted to mention his name because I didn't have a chance to say a whole lot about it.
Oh, yeah, we love Cortez.
Yeah, we know Cortez is a baller. Shout out to Cortez. Go ahead, Shoes, your last gate.
I'll just use this opportunity to say that we were talking about the rankings earlier and with JPS teams just starting to play. But I'm probably gonna, with this being a short week and we got a lot of activity going on this week. By the way, I will be down there Tuesday to the Gulfport tournament, Kevin. I plan on coming down there Tuesdays. I know I always make me at least one day down there, but I'm probably gonna take a week off from doing the rankings, wait and let all this shake out over the holidays, and come back next Monday or Tuesday with a set of rankings. I'm taking me a hiatus and rest this week, and I'll come back next week. So I'll give you a new set of rankings next week.
All right, Talante.
I just want to shout out, you know what I'm saying, everybody, you know what I'm saying. I hope everybody's having a great holiday time, enjoying family. it's good to see Jackson hoops is back going. In the North, we haven't had a lot of games. We've had a little bit more games than you guys have had in the Jackson area. I just want to shout out to all the teams, the players, the coaches, you know what I'm saying, the referees, everybody who making it possible, you know what I'm saying. Even you, Evie, with the broadcast, so we can see the Jackson games. So in these difficult times, you know what I'm saying, just shout out to everybody that's working hard to make basketball even a possibility right now. So just shout out to everybody who just doing it on the front. Look, I call it the front lines because we are actually, you know what I'm saying, if you're playing, refereeing, or commentating, you know, you are on the front lines and risking your health to even catch something. So just shout out to everybody who making basketball possible right now.
Yes, sir. Snackers.
Well, I definitely want to give a shout out to the state of Mississippi for at least giving these kids an opportunity to play and giving them a chance to gain some interest from colleges and universities, as well as continue to develop as players and men. And I also want to give a shout out to state. And I know that he probably doesn't get a lot of publicity as far as his talent, but he's doing a solid job over at Jackson Prep this year, and I expect him to be very solid this year with Jalen Bolden as well.
Say that name again, because we missed you when you said what name?
Cameron Brennan, Jalen Bolden over at Jackson Prep.
Got you, my man. Cam Brent. Okay. Well, listen, man, we appreciate you guys coming on. Kevin, definitely thank you, man. Enjoyed you. We'll definitely have you back on Snacks, man. Oh, man, we, definitely won't be your last time. Thanks, Shoes and Talante. I just want to say tomorrow, the next 2 days, the JPS, Jackson Public School Trustmark Holiday Basketball Showcase will resume. Yours truly will be doing the live streaming over at Callaway tomorrow morning. It starts at 10 a.m. with Jim Hill, Lady Tigers versus Madison Central, Lady Jaguars. At 11:30, you got Forest Hill versus Madison Central. And then over at Kursky Middle School, you have Forest Hill and Lanier and Provine versus Lanier. And then later in the evening at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, you got Callaway versus Brandon. And then on the girls' side, then you have on the boys, Vicksburg versus Murrah. And then on Kursky, you have Vicksburg and Murrah and Lanier and Warren Central. And so, again, appreciate all of you guys watching. For Kevin Coles, Thomas Schnack Lee, Talante Weber, and Shoes Johnson, I am Coach EV, a.k.a. EV the Geeker, saying